This is the video lesson for the simple interest worksheet. Interest is essentially a lender's fee. When someone lends money, they charge interest as kind of a fee for lending out that money. And so the person who's borrowing the money pays interest to the lender. The formula for calculating simple interest is interest equals principal times rate times time. It's important to keep the interest and the rate separate. So I stands for interest. That's the amount, and in fact, I'll add that in here. Interest I is the amount of money earned in a certain amount of time. The principal, P, is the amount of money that the person starts with. The rate is the percent. So we're going to use R to represent the percent because our percent is a rate. And it would be confusing if we used P twice. So R is our rate that we're using. And T stands for time. And we must use the same units as the rate. All right. Typically, we're going to use years to measure the time. So let's take a look at some problems and figure out how to solve this. Number 1 says a $1,000 savings bond earns simple interest at the rate of 3% per year. The interest is paid at the end of every month. How much interest will the bond have earned after 3 months? All right, so in order to set this up, what I like to do is make a list of all the variables and all the values I'm going to need to know. Now that I've set this up, I should look for important information in my original problem. So it says a $1,000 savings bond. That's important. That's the amount of money I've started with. It earns simple interest at the rate of 3% each year. So 3% per year is going to be our rate or our percentage. But remember, we're using R for rate rather than P for percent. P stands for principal, the amount of money we start with. And I want to know how much it earns after 3 months. And this is tricky because I need to make sure that the time must use the same units as the rate, but our rate is measured annually every year, and our time is measured in months. So let's plug these values in. I'm being asked to find the interest, so I don't know what that is. My principal, that's the amount of money I started with, or in this case, $1,000. My rate is 3%. Remember, though, to always write your percent as a decimal. So 3 divided by 100 gives me 0.03. And my time is 3 months. The problem is I need that in years. So since there are 12 months in a year, instead of 3 months, I could think of 3/10 or 3/12 of a year, which simplifies to 1/4 of a year. All right, so now my interest rate is given annually. My time is given annually, so I've got the same units. And I'm ready to plug in these values to solve for I. So I'm going to use the formula I equals P times R times T. And at this point, it's just a matter of plugging in my values. Since I don't know what I is, that's what I'm solving for, I can leave it as the variable I, but the other values I'll plug in. So it's going to be 1,000 times 0.03 times 1/4, because I'm talking about 1/4 of a year. Next step would be to multiply these values together. So take your calculator and multiply these 3 numbers together. When I multiplied these numbers together on my calculator, I got 7.5. So let's talk about what that means. It means that in 3 months, the bond earned $7.50 in interest. That's technically the answer to my question. What this means, though, is that the bond is now worth $1,007.50, right? Because it started out at $1,000 and it's earned $7.50 in interest. So just to clarify, this part in bold, this is the answer to the actual question. But this other part is important too, just remembering that distinction between the $7.50 in interest and what the bond is now worth.